in Sport Today.
Look at the lines, the queues of people going into the Olympic Stadium. There is a genuine buzz here for Bolt versus Gatlin, and the locals are cashing in as well. Everywhere is open, selling beers and soft drinks and fries. Buildings have even been rented out, so broadcasters like us can have fun too.
Hello and welcome to Rio. You are live outside the Olympic Stadium where Justin Gatlin and Usain Bolt go head to head in a few hours' time. This is Sport Today. I'm Chris Mitchell. This is what's to come. Can Bolt make it 3 out of 3? It's Andy Murray versus Juan Martín del Potro in the tennis. Will it go to 5 sets? And in the golf, Justin Rose wins the gold, beating Henrik Stenson on the last hole. Hello and welcome to the Olympic Stadium here in Rio, where it is truly exciting. And at last we will get the final chapter perhaps of Usain Bolt's career as an Olympic sprinter. He goes up against Justin Gatlin and of course 6 other runners. Can he do it? Well, the Jamaican fans are pretty confident down below me. I was talking to a few of them earlier and they see that there can be only one winner.
Answer the question, who is the fastest man in the world? To date, Usain Bolt. No intention of changing, and I will encourage the entire world to come and see what Jamaica, 2.7 average million people, still producing great people.
About 6 feet 5.5 inches tall. Yeah, and he's our great ambassador from Jamaica, along with Bob Marley.
Are you not worried at all about the man they call Justin Gatlin?
Not in the least, not in the least. He'll be looking at the heels of Usain Bolt tonight.
What a fantastic hat that man had. He's not the only one wearing a hat like that. There are plenty of Jamaican fans dressed up to the hilt. There are plenty of American fans out there as well that want to see Justin Gatlin win. Justin could only get the bronze in London. He was beaten by Usain Bolt, of course, at the World Championships last year. So how is this race going to pan out? I've been talking to our expert, our athletics commentator for BBC World Service Radio, Ed Harry.
We watched them in the preliminaries on Saturday morning. Bolt looked great. Bolt probably only ran for about 60 metres. It was classic Usain Bolt. A decent start, not a good one. About 60 metres of running, and then he shut it down, so to speak. He looked absolutely back to his best. Gatlin, though, looked at ease in his heat as well. Let's look at the semi-finals tonight, Chris. Bolt, and remember, only 2 people go through as of right from 3 semi-finals, so 2, 2 and 2, and a couple of fast losers. Bolt is in with the men who shared the bronze medal behind him at last year's Worlds. Andre de Grasse of Canada and Trayvon Bromell of the United States. They're the young bucks. They're the next generation one day when the main 2 finally get out of there. Gatlin's got Johan Blake, the silver medalist from London, finished ahead of Gatlin, but he's had 2 or 3 injury-ravaged seasons. I think Bolt maybe has got the easier of the passages to the final, but it could go either way. Gatlin is perfectly capable of winning this.
How important a moment is this for athletics?
Even bigger than it was 12 months ago when that World Championship showdown was styled as a battle for the soul of the sport, good against evil. Neither man felt comfortable with that. Bolt said, I'm not the saviour of this sport, and Gatlin said, look, I've got parents, my mother's just been heckled at a medal ceremony, whatever you might think of me, I'm certainly not evil. And Darren Campbell, the former Great Britain sprinter, told me at the time, look, he said serial killers are evil, people that you lock up for life are evil. This is a man, whatever you might think of him, he's only running in a running race. It will be huge, because when Bolt won in Beijing at the World Championships last August, it lifted the mood tremendously after lots of stories published by ARD in the Sunday Times, and indeed us at the BBC. If Bolt were to lose to Gatlin and Gatlin were to win back the Olympic title 12 years on, having been banned for Beijing, don't forget, it would be seismic for the sport. All of this, can we believe what we see, talk would come right back up to the surface, and that, I think, would dominate the start of, if not all, of the remaining week of the Olympic Games.
Ed Harry with his expert opinion. He certainly knows Usain Bolt very well. He's followed him throughout his career. Another man who knows the racing game pretty well is Carl Lewis. 9 Olympic gold medals, of course, champion at 100 metres. And he would know what it's like before a race, moments before a race, the nerves that are building up. And it's interesting because from our vantage point, you can just about get a glimpse over here of where the athletes warm up. And somewhere out there, among all those people, Justin Gatlin and Usain Bolt preparing for the biggest race of this Olympic Games. So Carl Lewis then, I caught up with him this morning. He's been in Rio doing some work with some charities, and I asked him what he made of the rivalry between Gatlin and Bolt.
I don't really get into the predictions and things. I've never have, and I just think it's a little unfair for me to inject myself into their race. What I do want, obviously, first and foremost, everyone to have a healthy race, a great race, fast times. But I'm an American, and what's really interesting now, since even the last time around, I started coaching at the United States. And so when I was in London, the American team got cleaned, you know, and so I since started coaching at the University of Houston, hoping to get some American sprinters that are better in the future. So now if I go out and start talking about everyone else, I'll get back and my guys will be all on my head. So what I say is that good luck to everyone, but go USA. If we're going to talk about the top athletes, you know, where is their commitment to making sure that their fellow man is better, that they leave the sport better than it was when they came in.
Coming into this Olympics, there was a lot of talk about doping and Russia, should they, shouldn't they be allowed. Do you think that the IOC and the IAAF, do you think the IOC got it right, their decision?
I think that the issue is that you have to take bold steps if you want to make a change. So, I support Sebastian Coe. I've known him for over 30 years personally. And I know exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to get a clean sport. He understands that we have to have a clean sport, or at least the public needs to believe in it, or else we're in big trouble.
So Coe got it right, but Thomas Bach got it wrong?
Well, it's a complicated issue. It isn't. You can't say right and wrong. It's what we think is right to move forward. And so, and part of that process is that you're going to go out and make steps, you know, because I think each federation, one of the things the IOC did is say they put it on the federations, and some people criticize that. But in reality, the federations know their sports better than the IOC. So I don't think that was a wrong decision. What I do want to call upon is something that's happened this week. You know, the swimmers started speaking out. It's the athletes. The onus is on the athletes to have a stronger take in the future of their sport. They're not speaking up enough about what they believe in. It's kind of like, well, I don't want people and I'll take care of me. It's not about you. It's about everyone.
Interesting thoughts. The athletes are not speaking up enough about what they believe in. Strong words from Carl Lewis, and you have to listen to that man, don't you? He's been to the Olympics. He's won gold medals. He knows what he's talking about. There have been plenty of gold medals run around Rio today. The golf was fantastic. The gymnastics has been sensational. Let's get a roundup now from Colm Harrison.
Jemima Sumgong missed out on a medal at last year's World Championships, but made up for that by seeing off all of her rivals to claim gold in Rio. In doing so, she became the first Kenyan woman to win the Olympic marathon title. Great Britain's Justin Rose came through a titanic battle with Sweden's Henrik Stenson to win the men's golf championship. They were tied for the lead on the 18th tee, but a two-shot swing at the last ensured that Rose, on 15 under par, became the sport's first Olympic champion since Canadian George Lyon back in 1904. After waiting 120 years for a gymnastics gold, Great Britain won 2 on day 9, both courtesy of Max Whitlock. Less than 2 hours after winning the men's floor exercise, he claimed the pommel horse title, adding Olympic gold in that discipline to his World Championship gold from last year. And there was another gold medal for Simone Biles of the USA. She vaulted her way to a third title in Rio, and with the floor and beam finals to come later in the week, she's still on course to win an unprecedented 5 at a single Games. Colm Harrison, BBC News.
OK, let me update you quickly then on the tennis. This is perhaps the moment of the Games at the tennis arena. It's been fantastic there. You've got Juan Martín del Potro, who of course beat Nadal and Djokovic to make it to the final against Andy Murray. And Andy Murray is 6-5 up in the 4th set and 2-1 up against Juan Martin del Potro. So it's a cauldron in there. I've been outside, the noise inside is quite sensational. Before I go, let me update you on the football. The Premier League season has started, of course, in England. There was a big result at the Emirates in London where Arsenal lost 4-3 to Liverpool, and Bournemouth, well, they had a tough game to open their season, didn't they? At home to Jose Mourinho and Ibrahimovic, Manchester United winning 3-1. In under 2 hours, Bolt versus Gatlin. I'll be here. I'll tell you all about it later. Bye.